Good evening. We are 7 days out from the Cheltenham Festival. I am Pete, also known as Risk for Rewards. It is approximately 7 o'clock. In 7 days' time, we will all be drunk off the funds from Honeysuckle, bolting up in the Champion Hurdle once again. I'm on Twitter, known as Risk for Rewards, or you can follow me on the YouTube channel if you click subscribe below. Today I'm just going to go through a few questions and answers, a week out, and we'll go from there. So straight to it, we have Sam Taylor. He says, this is getting a bit ahead, but is there anything worth backing anti-post for next year before prices get shattered for the festival? So Sam, on my blog that I'll be putting up on probably Sunday night or Monday morning, when most of the declarations are beginning to come through, I'll cover all the races, but I've also put a section on each race of which targets. So say for, I don't know, like say the Ballymore, horses often target, say, the Champion Hurdle, and maybe a few recommendations of a horse you could back. And then that way, if you're looking the night before and you read it, you can then put it on. If you fancy, say you fancied Sir Gerard to win the Ballymore, then obviously if you think he's going to stay over hurdles, and it makes sense to back him to win the Ballymore and the Champion Hurdle, or back him to win the Champion Hurdle before the Ballymore. The only problem is obviously it's so easy to get them wrong. Like I remember back in Envoy Allen watching him bolt up, and then straight away they said he's going over fences, so that money was done. It was a really good price, but it doesn't make any odds. So, but it is good, and there will be a section on that under each race selection. So I hope that answers your question. Tosif Ahmad, I'd love to know any ACCAs you would suggest, and I know prices are gone, but any combination is still looking good. Again, going back to Sunday, Monday, I will have some ACCAs, some multiples on there for various things throughout the week, and I'll probably put one up, maybe one a day throughout. There's no real rush to get on the ACCAs. The only ones I've put up so far was I did the Wednesday ACCA video, which if you haven't seen, you can go back and watch that. And that was Sir Gerard, Brave Man's Game, Shishkin and Tiger Roll. They're 50 to 1. And the same bet, but swapping Brave Man's Game. So it'd be Sir Gerard, Ahoy Senor, Shishkin and Tiger Roll, and that was 100 to 1. So obviously if Galloping Deschamps switches, then it's a bit harder, but those were just two. But I mean, there is no rush. That bet will be similar on the day, and you might even get bigger prices now. And then the other one that I did was with Ash Simmons and the crew, which was all four of our naps, which was Allaho, Tiger Roll, and Galvin. That worked out about 40 to 1. And you throw in the final nap, which was Bob Ollinger, and that worked, not Bob Ollinger, sorry, definitely not Bob Ollinger, Bob and Co. for the Fox Hunters Chase. And that worked out at 300 to 1. So we had a little go on, well, I had a little go on that, just because if it wins, you never know. So they're the only ones I've really done. I've done the odd accumulator here and there as I've gone along, but I wouldn't rush. Like the best time is normally the morning for accumulators, and we'll know 48 hours out what horses are racing. As soon as you know that, then you can look at an accumulator, wait for the best odds, and then do it then. At the end of the day, they're fun. They're just for bonuses. They're not really to, if you get a life changer, then well done, but it's not really for me. Belfast Boy in England, Fantasticas in Ultima, coming out the preview nights well. Just your thoughts. Yeah, I've seen loads of good things about that, and I do think I've got this hunch that Nigel is going to get a winner somewhere across the festival. He's had a much better season, and last year he had a really bad season, so a lot of his horses are coming back well handicapped. So yeah, I could see that. I have not looked at the Ultima at all. The only thing I saw was obviously the Irish horse getting put up as favourite and was against it. I'll be going with English horses in the race, no doubt, but I haven't looked hard at that race yet. It's on the to-do list. And what do you want for the Ballymore? I've heard nothing of this horse since its last run, so I'm not sure whether it runs in the Ballymore, whether it runs at Cheltenham at all. So I would not rush at all into backing that right now. Ash Simmons Journalism. What do you think the split will be between the Irish and English? Well, I think, just like most people, I think it's going to be a lot closer this year. I mean, the handicapper really is taking the mick. That Langer Dan getting a £3 lower mark for just trotting around in the field. If they'd been given the same mark, they'd have been happy enough. But to get dropped is unbelievable. You look at some of these Irish horses, they're running 3 times, getting beat 20 lengths each time, and they're not getting dropped at all. Then they're coming across and gaining £3. So I do think it's going to be a lot closer this year. Last year was 23.5 to the Irish. They've set the benchmark around 19.9. So I'd say it's probably going to be about there. Maybe maybe 20 for the Irish, 8 for the English. It's hard to tell. You could get off to a flyer if the English have a fairly good day on the day one, but I'm sure many people will think that. And then when the Irish win as usual, everyone will be like, well, that was obvious, wasn't it? So, I mean, it's not a bet I'd normally like to get involved in, but yeah, we'll see. But I do think it'll be closer, especially in the handicaps. Okay, right. Going on to the other part of the sectional questions. We've got, are these the bankers of the festival? From George Fulford Smith. Brave Man's Game in the Brown Advisory, Allaho in the Ryanair, and Honeysuckle, Champion Hurdle, and Shishkin for Champion Chase. I'd say Allaho, Honeysuckle, and Shishkin would be like the A team for me. Those three are the ones that I'd expect. I'd be disappointed if they get beat. Obviously, these things happen. Allaho in particular, bar a fall, I'd be hoping that he goes in. Shishkin's going to be a lot more competitive this year because it's going to be a bigger field. They're going to have plenty of opportunities to try and box him in, stop him getting the turn of foot, and you could well get evens on the day. So it'll be a harder race. And Honeysuckle, well, we all know how good she is. So if she brings her A game, then I don't see anything catching her. Yeah, I get the appreciated call, but he's got a big ask. That'll be a monumental performance from Mullins, training him to win off a layoff. I know they probably have their own races back home and all of that, but this is a proper race. So, but only time will tell. But I wouldn't say anything to banker. Oh, in regards Brave Man's Game, I put him in a different category to those. Like, I really like Brave Man's Game, especially for the King George next year. He is definitely a bet 5-1 for that because of tracksuits. He won the Courtly Star and everything. But for this is a different kettle of fish. Worthy favourite, yes. Have I backed him? Yes. Would I back him even at the prices on the day? Yeah, I would if I hadn't already placed my bet. But I don't put him in the same category as those three. Like, there's plenty of opportunity where he could not win, if that makes sense. And I like Ahoy Senor as well, so I'd back both of those two. But the other three, then yes, there's no such thing as a banker, but if they were my highest I'd expect to be winning, like the A team, then yeah, those are the three. Rob Scott asks, run us through your thoughts on the Supreme. Who do you think fills the first three places and how the race will finish? Well, my first thought is that I think Dysart Dynamo will go to the Supreme because I cannot see how you can run that horse in the Ballymore. Even if he did, he probably would still win the Ballymore. And I think Sir Gerard will go and take the Ballymore. So if that is the case, I think Dysart Dynamo will do the old Duvan/Vitor style, where it's like almost like an Irish maiden, where he'll go off from the front and play Catch Me If You Can, and he'll just power off. And if it will suit perfectly for both of Henderson's, both Constitution Hill and John One. John One's a brilliant jumper, very slick at his hurdles, and Constitution Hill obviously his potential is endless. However, Constitution Hill reminds me a bit like an unexposed Spirit Sun /Sprinter Sacra, where he could turn out to be potentially the better horse, but he might not be ready for on the day. He's only ran in like those horses with bottomless ground where everything's happening slowly. I don't think he'll be out of class at all though. So those would be the three. But I do think Dysart Dynamo will go off in front. So say they're coming to the hill, I'd have all four of the big guns there. So Dysart Dynamo would be there. Wouldn't surprise me if Kilcrut is upsides close to Dysart Dynamo, and then the two in behind are the two Henderson pairs. Where they come down the hill, I'm not sure. If you said to me tomorrow that with say Dysart Dynamo was the same price as John Bond, Constitution Hill or whatever, say they went 3-1 the field, then Dysart Dynamo would be my bet because of the record in the race. I like the horse. So, but you are really guessing, to be honest. They are a brilliant bunch. And Kilcrut was 16-1 not long ago. Now he's into 8-1. He's a bit of a wise guy's horse. But you've got to remember last year, he was very good in that bumper. Yeah, he got beaten, but he was very good. So he's got the bumper form. And it wouldn't surprise me if he went very close as well. But I'll be disappointed. I just got this feeling that Dysart Dynamo is going to beat Kilcrut. It's just how good the Henderson pair are. So my gut at the moment says Dysart Dynamo off the 4. And I think, yeah, and that is it. So that's all the questions and answers. We're obviously only a week away. My blog will be out probably Sunday or Monday. There's no point releasing it yet. It'll cover all 27 races. It'll have some anti-post in there for next year. It'll have the results from last year, what top races to target and stuff, and a bit just information and general advice. So it'll be a pretty lengthy read, but it'll all be cut down into days, and there'll be the multiples at the start of the day, and also my individual selections for those who either just can't be bothered to read it or they've got no interest in reading it. So yeah, a week to go. Cheltmental.